for those people that are not familiar with this inner development goals, can you briefly explain what it is and how it is connected to this changing environment we live in today?
Yeah, I think that there's actually three different. We've been, after we had worked with the global goals, the SDGs, for a few years, and we thought that they were so clear and obvious, and we were just sitting back and waiting for change to happen, and it seemed like nothing happened really. So we started to think about what drives change, and it took all too long, I think, to understand a very simple fact that it's like, who's driving this car, and like that it all comes down to us. And
but then I actually went through a business crisis. I had invested heavily in wellness centers, and there was a disruption in the market. I lost a lot of money, and I faced my own challenge. I'd gone from wealthy and successful to broke and living in a backpacker's hostel. And I had what I would call a pity party. I was licking my wounds and feeling sorry for myself, blaming, complaining, and playing the victim. But I had an epiphany. One day I was getting on a bus, and the bus driver said, "Isn't it a great day?" And I was in a bad mood, and I wanted to tell him it was a terrible day. But I realized that he was influencing the whole bus by his cheerfulness, and yet he didn't have any autonomy. He didn't choose his route. He didn't choose his timetable. And here I was with all the education and the previous success I'd had, feeling sorry for my
development. It's like we're walking around with all of these different capacities. None of us are saying that IDGs are complete or covering every aspect of it, because it is a framework under development. But all of a sudden, if you start to look at these different skills or capacities or qualities, you can see well, first of all, if you look at them, and there are 23, 24 of them now. There's actually 23. I'm saying 24 because there's definitely a new one coming in. But if you're looking at them at the list, I think you would be hard pressed to find a person who's not like, yep, that's great, I want all of those.
I'm here joined by this brilliant Jacob Trollbeck, who is the visionary designer and communicator, the mindset behind the visual language of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and also now the inner development goals. So I'm so grateful to have you here on the show, Jacob. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here.
So you're literally the mind behind the UN SDGs and the Agenda 2030s language.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. It's funny because someone asked me a question about the origin of the goal 5 gender equality icon the other day, and I had to dive down because it's actually now 10 years since we did this.
Don't know you. I mean, the most people on Instagram, I think, know you, but many people perhaps don't. So could you please explain a bit who you are, and perhaps something about your journey also to where you became a professional in this area?
Yeah, absolutely. I am a neurorehabilitation specialist, so I work with people who have concussions. I've worked with people that have brain injuries. I've worked with people on the neurodiverse spectrum, as well as athletes that are looking for higher performance as well. So it's kind of a wide variety there. But a little bit about me is I'll dive into my story just a little bit so you can understand why I do what I do. And so I always start with the story. 12 years ago, I was outside of a nightclub, and I ended up getting in a fight outside of the nightclub with a bouncer. And so now that we have the science out of the way, one great exercise I like to work with people in the beginning is do a pinky thumb. So You would put one thumb up on one side, and you would put a pinky on the other, and then you would nice and slowly switch. And then so I do this all the time, right? So it's very easy for me. I do it a lot.
Oh wow.
But
I
most
must try
people find that in a couple of minutes that they're able to do that. It may
Yeah.
be very difficult at first, but then they could with 2 to 3 minutes of practice, they can accomplish that movement.
And that is not that difficult if you're working and you feel that you don't have time. You can do that.
First of all, in the category of 25 essential character traits, respect is number 1. And there are 5 core traits, and they are respect, resilience, responsibility, kindness, and love. If you meet somebody who's got at least those 5 things, they're a pretty decent person. So you have to look for those. But the problem is, who's giving respect these days? I'm preparing a TED Talk right now, and the very first question that I have for the audience is this. So let me ask you just to think for a moment of all the people that you encounter. I said, you have to give to get. It's that simple. Give to get, give to
Yeah.
get. And if you're
That's
just
the secret
all about,
formula.
what's that?
That's the secret formula.
It is a secret
Yeah.
formula. It's so simple, right? It's so simple. Give to get. So I if you're so caught up in you and it's all about you, you're probably somebody who doesn't understand respect. It's that simple. Because you're so focused on you that how could you possibly respect somebody else because they have to respect you first? That's not the way it works. It works the other way around. You respect somebody else, you'll get respect back. Give to get.
Yeah, you have to earn respect. It's
You
quite
earn
normal way of saying.
Yep. Yeah. It's only temporarily. So that has to happen. And in the community, if you're working with people in the community, if you want to gain respect, then you need to listen to them. And that listening will develop trust. So the natural fallout from respect is trust. So when people have trust in you, they first feel safer. So they feel like they can communicate with you. They feel like they can express their opinion. They feel like they're a part of the team. There's all kinds of advantages of that. So trust is the first byproduct of respect. And from there, it just gets better. So trust has to be earned, and you earn that by listening and then by actually doing something about it. So what we do is we have these short stories that we present to children. And one of the things that almost every parent has done, good, bad, or indifferent, is they've read to their children because that people know them. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to read to your kids. So they get involved in these long children's stories, and they get a third of the way through it and the kid goes to sleep, and there's all kinds of crap that happens. And it's not really productive for the parent, and the kid didn't get much out of it other than they were just reading. So we developed these 100-word stories that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning sets up the story. The middle works towards a solution. And then the end is the part where you say, and Johnny learned that by doing this, this happened, and he felt like